Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Extra special thanks to guest lecturer member Toby Gaffney. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Hey there, Rulers. Welcome back to Ruler School. I am here talking about Alternate Souls once again with Eiji and Jeff. Eiji, Jeff, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Hey guys.
We are wanting to talk about the second coming of Alternate Souls, the Kickstarter now being done. Just My Will Studios taking it independently, saying, well, you guys really want this game to still happen. You guys got a lot of feedback on the first Kickstarter. Wanted to take that, implement it, and continue to push this project forward because it's something that you guys are truly passionate about and you think that a lot of people will really enjoy. So giving it another shot, which is great. That's the beauty of a Kickstarter, right? Is the fact that you can take that feedback and try again. And the community itself seems to already have a lot of interest in what's been going on over on your Facebook page. For those of you who are watching, if you do, just in general, go click that link down below in the description. You can go straight to the My Will Studios Alternate Souls pages on Facebook and get a little bit of a hint of what's been going on over there if you haven't already. Also, there's a link in the description to our first kind of discussion videos that we've been talking about this game, so you can get kind of caught up. But with that, enough about the past. We're talking about the future. So let's talk about, Eiji, let's go to you. Like I said, My Will Studios is going to be starting running their own independent Kickstarter. So what can you tell us a little bit about what the plan is for that, how it's going to be different, what people can kind of expect to see this time around?
Yeah. To start with the topic, so it was kind of bit time to let you guys wait, but finally it looks like a COVID gone, so we can now starting again our project. And thanks for the good comments. So we received lots of the comment, and there was, let's say, fulfilled by the good advice. And then so now we understand how we fixed how we should have fixed our Kickstarter. That was a good experience for me to start with the Japanime. Now, so it's time to start with our own, let's say, as our own project of Alternate Souls. So most of the part is, let's say, project pledge level as it is, and the goal level and the length. Three of the parts. So I think we should fix. We should fix for our own times.
Sure.
Yep. And it is easy to make the length, a bit longer and the goal and shorter. But I want to emphasize and talk with you guys about the components, the booster pack components. Many people prefer to have the LCG style compared with trading card game style. It's kind of recently people felt kind of wallet fatigue to buy the booster pack. That is a kind of my image so far. So that is the most important point to fix for our, yeah.
So what I'm hearing so far is that you're already going to be the last Kickstarter was only 14 days. It sounds like what you're saying is this Kickstarter is going to run for probably the full length of what a Kickstarter is allowed to go for, potentially. Is that accurate to say? So a little bit longer time to be able to build the hype while you're in the process, and as well as we're going to see a decreased goal. The previous goal with Japanime's project was 100K. Do you guys at this point in time know what that goal level is going to be this time around?
Less than half?
Little less than half. So little less than 50K. So that's great news. That obviously speaks to the awesomeness of this project, as we know that even with the results of the last Kickstarter, you broke that. So we'll look forward to having a very successful Kickstarter this time with more time to raise those funds. And then you spoke about the wallet fatigue. I think that's a very that is definitely something I think that is accurate to what the people were talking about. This idea of having to buy booster packs, and I know that there was a commitment to making it so there was no repeats in a box, but then a box isn't enough to get all the characters. So what happens if I buy a second box and I get duplicates there? So I know, Eiji, you're very passionate about trading card games. I know that is Jeff as well, that you're both very passionate about that world. What has been your takeaway on it? Is it time for this project to move towards this kind of sealed kind of product? Are we? What's your thoughts?
Actually, so as you mentioned, so we are from the trading card game industry. So we have, we know the good part of the trading card game, but
Right.
so kind of mediate. So we are going to aim mediate position. We are going to aim.
Okay.
Maybe Jeff can
Yeah,
explain
Jeff,
a
You
little.
want me to explain it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
But give me a little bit more there, buddy.
So, Eiji and I talked a lot about this particular feedback, and it was one of those things that we realized at first that we didn't necessarily predict that so many outsiders from the TCG world would be interested in our product and in our game. And so when we heard that feedback, it really kind of resonated and clicked with us that, yeah, you know what? I could understand that if a booster pack costs $8 or $7, that it's kind of a scary concept that if I get a duplicate, that might hurt. And so what AG has kind of thought up, and I think it's brilliant, is so boxes, as they're going to be, are going to be changed now.
Sure.
So that one individual box will be that color. So, for example, white or blue or red or whatever. And within that box, there will be blind packs for those that like to buy singles. But there will be one of every character of that color in that box.
Oh,
So
okay. Right. So kind of the
if
best
you
of both
are-
worlds.
Yes, if you are interested in having everything and not getting any duplicates, it will be very simple. You will buy that one box, and there you go. It is a complete set of everything that you need. If you're a retailer or you're a person that is just interested in maybe picking up pieces here and there, then you can go ahead and you can buy singles that way as well. So we wanted to have kind of the TCG players that enjoy a random booster pack, but of a certain type or color that they prefer. Maybe your group or your ruler is Kaguya, and so you want to make sure you have colors that are aligned with her, or maybe a combination. You can definitely do that now, and you're 100% going to be able to get the color that you would like.
So with that change, I remember if we talked about the previous one, set 1 was going to be 25 characters, right? It was going to be 20 linkers and 5 additional
Exactly,
rulers,
yeah.
one for each character. So this means that we're speaking to this concept of if there's 5 colors plus, it essentially would be 4 linkers and 1 ruler per color per set is the thought, right? So now with this model that you're describing, boxes are going to shrink in terms of how many per box. Is that accurate? If you're taking that you're guaranteed to get 1 of each per box, if you're talking about color wise, because previously packs I believe were 10, but now it seems like
12 actually.
12 per box. So then if you're talking about color exclusivity within the box and guaranteed to get every single one of that character and also wanting to avoid duplicates, does that mean that we're going to see a shrink in the size of the boxes?
Yes, actually, that is the idea. ACG studies that if we prefer to buy only the right color, so we are going to produce a starter deck of the of 0, right? Light characters,
Sure.
and then expansion going to be like a same color with a mediums color,
Sure.
or also the right. But this time, so still thinking about I haven't had the conclusion, but I think it's better to launch one booster pack box. It includes 25 all packs.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about for the purpose of the Kickstarter, the project would be the box is all of set 1. So
Yes,
very
because-
much that sealed concept.
Yeah, before that, our previous project, we need to one box has 12 cards. So, and then as Jeremy mentioned, we are going to prepare the 25 characters. So they cannot complete even they buy the 2 boxes.
Right.
So, but this time, changed. 1 box, fully complete.
Okay, sweet.
With
so
25 characters.
for the sake of the Kickstarter. So the Kickstarter would be the box that's produced for the Kickstarter would be all 25 characters from set 1. You're guaranteed to get that. But then the plan would be moving forward for future expansions that you have these kind of color exclusive boxes.
Exactly.
Focus where you're going. Okay, excellent. I think that's a great idea. We did talk. So let's talk about with that kind of concept, because I think that hits on a lot of it. You know, speaking with the blind packs, we know that the cards themselves are locked to the characters. We've seen the characters be spoiled a lot more on the Alternate Souls Facebook page. I know I have been super excited about some of these things that I didn't get to see before on the first time. So let's talk. Obviously, again, we talked about the product, about what you're going to be pushing forward level-wise. Do you want to talk about, there's two kind of ways we can go here now. Do you want to talk about the expected kind of levels that you're looking for? Or are you want to talk about, which I think can maybe get into nitty-gritty about when the Kickstarter actually launches, but also maybe talk about some of those rewards? Because I know people like shiny things. I am one of them. I'm about it.
Sure, of course.
You want me to start on that, or do you want to go ahead with that one?
Then please.
Bring it home, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about rewards. I think that's the fun part. That's the exciting part. So, of course, the game, as it is the kind of main goal. But then, one of the things that we noticed was that the single large metal rulers were super popular. And Jeremy, I know yourself included, really like those, and so we definitely will be bringing those back. And those are a popular thing. Something new that Eiji and I had discussed was, so for those that maybe don't know, Eiji and I both wear kind of special shirts for this game, and
mine's in the laundry. Sorry.
Yeah, and Jeremy betrayed us. No, and so we've talked about bringing the T-shirts to a more public level, and that was something that we had talked about in the past doing, and then in the last Kickstarter project, we actually backed away from that. So this time, we would like to again use the T-shirts as one option as a reward for people who are backers.
Okay, awesome.
In addition to that, can stop me if this isn't confirmed, and we can edit it out. But we also talked about including new sleeves, maybe sleeves that have never been seen before, using Force of Will artwork that we've created over our time with our previous projects. And we really love our characters, and so we thought, why not have people give a chance to kind of personalize their deck even more? And the other thing is, I mean, I think all of us here, we play multiple games, and so sleeves are always good. So so you can get sleeves of your favorite character, maybe set up so that your ruler and your army has all the same cards and the same artwork, whatever it may be. So I thought that was something that players might really enjoy. Super cool.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Next things. The last thing we had talked about was a playmat.
Toys? Playmat, yeah.
Yeah, a couple things. I lied, there's even more. So, going with the playmat idea, I think, as it's well known, lots of people have a lot of regular playmats. I think for those that know me, this room is actually everything besides right here is covered.
Playmat.
Yeah.
Playmat. A bunch of playmats all over. They're great.
Yeah. And so people love them, but we thought that maybe just another regular playmat doesn't necessarily fulfill a need that people have. And so what we've been discussing is how to turn the board, so to speak, into a nice high quality mat that people that backed the project from early on, they could get access to that.
Oh,
and
okay.
I know some of you, specifically Jeremy, you know that in the past, the old Force of Will mats that were the big box kind, that were a little bit larger. I think you use one on your table.
Yep. There's one right there.
Something like that is actually a multi-purpose kind of mat that more than one person can use. Something like that with the battlefield put on the mat, as well as the other pieces of information and kind of stylized a little bit.
That would be cool. Those are awesome.
So in conjunction, as Eiji reminded me, there's also, we talked about potentially having, for only the Kickstarter, access to the similar size to traditional cards, but metal rulers as well. The large metal rulers will be one of a kind, unique. No one else will ever have that kind.
Oh, cool.
But we know that in the past, people have really enjoyed the metal rulers as rewards for tournaments, rewards for other things. And so we've considered also making some regular sized card versions that are metal also, more like this size.
Sure.
So
traditional card size, but the plate metal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those would be very, very
So,
cool.
We think that those rewards are not only practical, but something cool that everyone can use and would like to have.
Yeah. So with that kind of, we've hit kind of what your goal is. We've hit kind of the new as well as the returning rewards that I think people are very excited about. Like we've already said, we talked about how it really does feel like you've listened to a lot of the feedback that you've received from the first time in terms of adjusting it so that you're not truly stepping away from your TCG roots, that kind of love of cracking packs, but at the same time meeting the needs of people who want to play this game but might not be full TCG people and they want to go. And I think that's great. I think you guys have done a wonderful job addressing that. So with that, there's been a couple other questions that have been brought up that I just kind of want to hit on. Specifically, there's been talks about artwork, like duplications or some weirdness there. I haven't been fully involved, but maybe Jeff, I know you've been talking to the community a lot. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So that's when we were going through and choosing artwork. One of the big things that AG and I one of the core concepts that artwork was based around was that a lot of times in Force of Will, there was artwork of characters, but it wasn't always near the character, the ruler. It's kind of kind of near that character's debut. And so sometimes people might miss out on certain artworks, or it was never really aggregated together so that you could really see all of what that character had to show and do, etc. And so the goal was that we would bring all that together and show off that character. Now, in the kind of process of developing the game and putting everything together, we had a couple instances where the artwork for the ruler was also used somewhere in one of the support cards. And I think it was just a case of we really like our artwork, and so it was just added in, and maybe it fit flavorfully with the card. But we saw a lot of people didn't necessarily appreciate that, and I think especially given where the world is nowadays, that people would like to see all their cards have different art. And
Sure.
That's completely justifiable. Totally get it. And that was one of the things AG and I talked about first when we met after COVID, was that, you know what, if people are passionate and this is something they care about, then that's something that we can easily make an adjustment to. And I think it goes a long way in adjusting one of the major fixes that the game had from the start.
Sure, I agree. I think that's a great concept. I know, especially when you're dealing with a deck of one-ofs, having, things, even just from a gameplay standpoint, having things that have different artwork can be, you can differentiate things a little bit easier, stuff like that. So I think that's a great decision. Do you want to speak to this? Part of the first Kickstarter, pretty ambitious project from all the kind of discussions about it was the concept of the Soul system, which was this QR tracking, point tracking system where you would be able to, earn points based on the season, and a lot of different moving parts in it. I think to the point where there was feedback in the Kickstarter that it was almost kind of too much, a little bit intimidating, not quite sure exactly what the implementation of that was. Going to what you're talking about before, again, you've talked about how there's been a big dip in terms of the goal. There's been a big kind of change of the length of time, everything else. What is the future of the Soul system? Is that been kind of pushed to the wayside? Does it look different? Is it still being worked on? What can people expect with that concept in this new attempt?
I mean, to take this one.
Yes. Actually, in our not Kickstarter, previous project, we had a willpower system. So we had, and that was really good. So definitely, so I wanted to continue that system, but for this, just a beginning of the alternate souls kickstarting. So we should skip that for future program. So it's kind of not so complicated. We just need to put in the QR code into that, and then let you guys scan, and then you guys can get the same artworks of the in the digital card version of the with acrylic standee. So, and in the digital scene, you guys can trade and complete and apply the, let's say, alternate artworks or ultimate artworks as well. So those are the kind of exciting ideas. So I'm sticking on. So hopefully, in the when we launch the product, so we wanna realize that idea as a minimum sign. So cannot exaggerate, what we can do this, but at least we're gonna open the opportunity to, let's say, I'm not quite sure when it's going to be released, but when we launch the product with a QR code, hopefully we can decide, we can show you the opportunity, the event ticket to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, of course,
yeah,
you guys can get a foil or ultimate work. So I'm for the people not curious about visiting Japan, but for the most of the people, it's going to we can develop the lottery system through that system. So by the point, then we can decide to let's say 50 invitation, not sponsored invite, but invitation for our party.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like
that's simple.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like a lot of the framework is there, but for the sake of, again, the passion of wanting to get this into people's hands and not having those kind of hiccups, we're, again, simplifying it for the launch with the intentions of making it happen later. So at launch, the Soul system might not be fully in place, but it is something that is at the core of what's going to be working on moving forward. So it's not going to be a limitation per se at the beginning. It's something that prevents the game from being produced, but is something that is wanting to be launched in the future.
Hopefully together with our first product.
Sure, of course. Awesome.
It's actually it's up to the goal we can reach.
Sure, the stretch goal. Yeah, obviously, the bigger the stretch goal, the more products you can have. Speaking of, the goal levels and kind of the money side of things, there was some feedback that we got, particularly 2 points of feedback, which was questions about why the choice to go with acrylic standees, and as a follow-up to that, whether or not the standees would be artwork on both sides. I know that was a question that was brought up.
Both sides.
And then the second, there were some people who were like, I want to be able to see the artwork that I'm playing with, not necessarily just show my opponent. And then the second question, kind of as a follow-up, is with the choice to go acrylic, with the opportunities that exist in the world in terms of 3D printing and everything else, why not pursue something like 3D modeling? So if you could speak to those, if you can, I think that would be something people would be interested to hear. Like what pushed you towards this concept versus like the world of 3D modeling or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I can start with that. Actually, we've covered that topics together with Jeff already, but yes, I had a kind of, let's say, I don't know how to say, stimulation, let's say, some idea hit me when I was in China. So sooner or later or now, I can find the first acrylic standee I got during my visiting in China GP. So big one. It impressed me. It impressed me. So
the IMO one, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Jeremy's going to his. Yeah. Jeremy has something like. AJ, here you go. Jeremy, you.
Yeah, that one. Why you have?
you think you're the only one with connections, EG?
Oh, really? So here is the things. You guys know, we were like that. And we really love our characters. Especially my favorite character is like this. As Jeff said, Naira's artwork is here, there. But some people miss, these artworks. So the original idea, we should, let's say, actually get together all the artworks and produce as, let's say, as total image of her character. So they can enjoy, Zero has this artworks, this artworks. So combine with that into one pack. And then, we can give her more character and taste and flavors, right? So those are as because some people play the first of it and quit and come back. Many people miss that our wonderful artworks. And then this is so beyond the topics, but we had a really good relationship with the artist. And I don't need to mention, but we invested tons of money to let them create the beautiful artworks. But most of the artworks just shown once and gone. Even though they're so, they dedicated lots of the passion to create that, but gone. Next one, next one. So I was a bit sad. Wow, they had a lot of the passion. We had a lot of the discussion to create that one piece of the artworks. So I wanted to produce more opportunity to show our artworks, after that, our first project, because I had strong confidence in our artworks going to be well accepted in all over the world. I know our community is not so huge, right? But has a big passion. So let's push our artworks to the outside of our community as well. That is my first passion. That reason why we created the alternate source. Another one is that one Jeremy showed me. When I saw that acrylic standee, wow, what is this? If I love the, if I could find the acrylic standee of my favorite characters, that's kind of super. I'm super happy to see that, right?
Yeah.
So now we have lots of the fascinated characters. So that impressed me. All right, let's prepare the, let's say, this character, acrylic standee. That is the second reason why we started the alternate source. So maybe we see some questions. Why do we have to start without acrylic standee? Or just card game, or we can use that as a dots, like a wheel coin style, small cheap styles, but totally different. I was so impressed to have the acrylic standee like you have. So I wanted to share with those kinds of excitement with our, let's say, friends and friends in the worldwide level. I just have the panda here, so.
Yeah.
If you like Panda, to have this on your desktop is super good, right? And the artworks, those are the two main reasons.
Sure.
So, and this is not for this time topics, but one more reason for that creates the new game is card game. I love card game, but I don't need to create a new card game, besides of the fossil wheel actually. And then we have then Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and lots of card game, right? So I just need to create a new style of the game, but it shouldn't be the complicated one. So the aim, the purpose, the target we are aiming is like a chess is like a traditional old-fashioned style, but the lasting long time with long histories. So we wanted to aim that kind of traditional style, simple arena side and fighting against with the opponent with like a chess style.
So almost the simplicity. So like the simplicity of the acrylics versus a 3D model speaks to that like history of these long-standing board games that are very streamlined in terms of piece design and layout.
Yes. So as for the we sometimes receive the questions about the game style. Yeah, it should very simple. Beat their king or touchdown over there. So we don't need to be some complicated one. But simple like Smash Brothers. Same battlefield.
You'll never guess who suggested that.
Let me think.
Many IP. So what kind of the game? It's simple. That characters can fight in the same battlefield. That is what only I can tell about our game.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's going to be outside of the topics.
No,
just
that's fine. I think that you've spoken to it a lot, and having had many conversations with you about it.
That's where we came from.
Yeah, I think that's
so
where you came
sometimes,
from.
Yeah, maybe question is kind of different angle. Why you don't start the trading card game? That's not what we've started from. So
yeah,
at once, Acrylic standees simple game. Once the entrance we've started.
I think that's an excellent framework that helps make it a lot more sense. So with that kind of in looking at everything that we wanted to talk about here, the biggest thing that we haven't really talked about yet is Win. The Kickstarter, the first attempt was a few months ago, and then after that, you asked the community kind of when was the best time to try again, because you again very passionate about this project, want to get it in people's hands, and so we've had some time, and the suggestion was kind of wait a little bit longer, make sure see what the world is like, don't just jump in right again, because people wanted it to be successful, so they wanted you to take the time on it and wanted to be able to help with it. So with that in mind, what is the current, can you speak to the current expected start date of when we're going to see this Kickstarter?
Yes. With a strong partner like Japan Anime, we have no problem to start with smoothly. But so as for my company, it's first time to launch the Kickstarter project as only we are.
Sure.
So we've already registered the Kickstarter, but we need to check the small conditions like shipping or receiving or stretch goals and a little bit much. So
sure.
We've almost done. So once we've checked, confirmed all the setup, so maybe we can start immediately and as fast as we can. Hopefully, like next week or something.
Sure.
So, but it's up to the, let's say, their confirmation, right? Kickstarter's
right
confirmation.
So the hope, from what it sounds like, the hope is that by the end of this month, at the latest, we would be able to see My Will Studios launch their first ever Kickstarter. The take 2 of Alternate Souls with all these amazing changes that you've been talking about, and like you said, you're going to be pushing for it to be a full month, like 30 days for the Kickstarter, correct?
Actually, if we are ready, once we're ready, so I worked for aiming 20th June.
Oh, sure.
Next week.
Mm-hmm.
But it was confirmed, so it's going to be launched. So I cannot tell the exact date. Yeah,
right.
Maybe
That's
at latest in the end of this month. So
right.
And this is going to be this time 3 weeks.
21 days.
21 days.
Okay. And then
we have planned to have kind of new information, new characters, new stuff rolling out kind of every other day almost. And
Sure.
so the idea that so you can check in on the first day or on the 7th day, and there'll be, of course, information there throughout the whole thing, but there'll also be new updates, things that if you'd like a certain character or something, maybe there's special news on a given day.
That's great. That sounds like a great idea. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think the extra, I mean, you know, again, speaking to the success that you guys did have last time, come at the shorter time frame, and now you have already, you're not a brand new concept anymore. Like, the world knows about your product. You've addressed their concerns. You have adjusted your time. You've adjusted your goals. I think that you're in a good spot for it, and I, for one, will be there backing you guys for sure.
One more thing.
Go for it.
Once we've done the this video, upload it. So we are going to put one link, and then if you guys, people interested into play in advance, so we are going to put a proxy printable
print and
sample
play
deck
version. That's great. That's
before
awesome.
before we start. Yeah, some of you guys, including Jeremy or many people, visited Japan, and we've tried already, right?
Yeah.
But most of the people I haven't tried that game. So the sample deck is going to be very simple, just only fire and the light. We've already had, right?
Yeah.
So many people know already how to play that, but most of the people don't know how to play that. So they can print and play with our proxy before we start. Then they can see how game goes.
Excellent.
Those are something one update.
Great.
I
That's
can
gonna
tell.
be great.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, hopefully, if you can check the link, if we have it, down below in the description of this video, and you can go ahead and check that out right now. You can check out the print and play and give it a shot. So, one final question that I have for you, AG, and Jeff, is that we're assuming that by the end of this month, we're going to see the Kickstarter launch. It's going to be 21 days. The Kickstarter is successful. Let's flash forward to the future. We know it's going to happen, where the Kickstarter is going to be successful. You're going to fund. Alternate Souls is coming into the world. It's going to be a game. What is your hopes for when we could see this game released?
Basically, this time we are going to launch Starter Deck and Booster Pack 1 simultaneously, aiming October this time, right?
October, okay.
After that, every 3 months, expansion 2, expansion 3.
Okay. And is every expansion going to be 20 plus characters?
Right, yes, exactly.
Okay.
And we need to see the response from the communities. We need to see the response, share, of course, of our, previous current friends, and for the coming friends, for the board game lover or something.
Sure.
So I'm thinking about to invite the other IP from Japanese game, or bingo fan style, the different artworks, British style. So those are the we'll see after we launch. We see the July's result and the response from the October release. October release. Then we can think about the more for the future plan.
Excellent. Well,
definitely, we're thinking about the coming expansion and the Soul System launching and the Japanese party as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a party in Japan. If I can be there, I'll be there. I'm all about it. So,
we can't miss you. So
yeah, thank you so much for sitting down with me to have a conversation about this. I know that I have been, I have it here on my table. I have the Alternate Souls map on my table along with my pieces so that I can jam with friends when I can finally have them over at my house. But I'm very much looking forward to this second attempt. I'm very much looking forward to the changes that you've talked about, and I'm sure the community has been as well. Hope that those of you who have watched the video have enjoyed it, and again, please consider clicking that link down below to go check out the page, go check out the print and play, and be ready for when that Kickstarter for Alternate Souls launches later this month. So we'll hear some more info on that as we go. But until next time, this has been myself, Jeremy Franklin, and I have been joined by Eiji and Jeff. And we say class dismissed. So have a good night, everybody.